Yo, 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 it's your girl Casey, back and better than ever. Okay, I swear to God, I'll never do that again. I'm really sorry. I'm really tired and sleep deprived, and I'm just trying to get an A. Okay, so my topic is stop selling sexism, and the ism is in parentheses because really they're just selling sex. The media is the most powerful entity on earth. They have the power to make the innocent guilty and to make the guilty innocent, and that's power because they control the minds of the masses. Malcolm X. Alright, so we can see in this next slide, we got my main man, Matthew McConaughey, and he is as fine as wine in the summertime, you know what I'm saying? And he is used to sell these vehicles. He is an actor, and this is a form of ethos, as we learned in Miss Marvin's wonderful class. So, like, companies use ethos because a girl's gonna see Matthew McConaughey in that car and be like, yo, I want that car because Matthew McConaughey was in it. You know what I'm saying? All right. Men and women have been taken advantage of by this industry through hypersexualization and sexism. What is hypersexualization exactly? So a woman is considered a sex object depending on posture, facial expression, makeup and hair, camera angles, amount of skin shown, etc. And this all contributes to hypersexualization. Here are some ads that display those qualities. As the first ad here is an American Apparel ad with a girl with her, well, you could see her body language and you can understand how that's sexualized, especially by the words that say now open. So moving on to the right ad, which is a Chanel perfume ad, we see a girl here and they take great use of makeup and hair and lighting, and who am I kidding? It's all about the amount of skin shown in this particular ad. Half her boob is hanging out. They are telling women that if they buy this perfume, they will be sexy and they will look like this, and they will embody these characteristics if they use the Chanel perfume. But my favorite ad is the cheeseburger ad with the classy Paris Hilton, which says, she'll tell you size doesn't matter, she's lying. That is self-explanatory. Sometimes it's not always self-explanatory, and the sexualization is kind of hidden. So for the far right ad, there's a woman with her hand in her mouth touching her lips, and that's considered sexy, along with the lighting and the sultry makeup. And, you know, obviously her eyes aren't saying buy my mascara, they're saying something a little bit more than that. The far left ad, it says memorable performance, and it's a car ad. So this one takes a little analyzation to understand, but it's a couple here. They're looking at each other. I don't know if you could tell. And it's basically telling you, you know, you get this car, you're going to have a nice memorable performance, not only with the vehicle, but with the female or the male whom owns the car. So for the middle ad, there's this girl sitting here, and the way that her body language is and the lighting, she's on a bed, all of these factors contribute to the sexualization of girls. Here's a video from the hit documentary Misrepresentation.
The hypersexualization that occurs in Hollywood, it's toxic, there's no question. It affects all of us, including young girls who are seeking an identity.
If the message is that women are objectified objects, that's their primary being, that's a very tough and challenging message for young women who think that's their path to power.
Don't look that way.
What are you most insecure about physically?
What am I most insecure about physically?
Growing up, I thought I was too pudgy. I didn't want to take my shirt off at the pool. Then now that I'm an adult, I think I'm like too thin and scrawny.
What I think makes a man attractive is athleticism.
I'm proportioned like a skinny person, but I have no muscles. Instead, I just have fat there. I don't have big arms. And I'd rather stay under these sleeves that go all the way to my elbow. I'm always in sleeves that go all the way to my elbow, because then that covers up every part of my body where there's supposed to be muscle definition.
Yeah, if I have to.
Oh my God. I look like an action figure. Everything that I'm insecure about has been erased in this photo.
I'm excited to see it. I want to see how I look, you know, all swole and sexy like Mr. Krasinski. But I'm also afraid that maybe it will make me feel worse about myself. Oh man, look at those arms. Those arms are huge. Man, I look strong as fuck.
Oh, damn!
I look like a god among men.
There's muscles there that I do not have. Cristiano Ronaldo is so rare. He's like 0.01% of the population that looks like that.
But for me, having to always constantly deal with my relationship with my body and navigate that, this will be really, really eye-opening. I was just struck with a really great epiphany. I've always wanted to look like this, but seeing this now in front of me makes me realize I'll always have a problem with my body because I just thought that my stomach still looks fat. I will always have issues with how I look, but maybe I can lessen those issues by focusing on things that really matter.
Improve yourself because you want to and because you enjoy it, not because you're trying to achieve an ideal that someone has told you you should fit.
Lots of people out there.
So these things happen just as much for women as they do for men. Here are some ads in which display the physical standards that men are supposed to attain. In the far left ads, they are selling salad dressing and air freshener, yet the focal feature in each photo is a shirtless, shiny, tall, dark, handsome man. So what does that tell you about the target audience? What does that tell you about their tactics in order to sell these products? They want to grab the attention of women through the sexualization or the fantasy that these guys bring. Again, in the far to right ads, Marc Jacobs perfume Bang, that is also a sexual innuendo, and David Beckham. Well, he's got a nice body, so. Here's a BuzzFeed video from the Try Guys. So as you could tell, for the Try Guys, it was kind of difficult for them to come to the reality of the fact that their bodies are not up to the standards in which media forces on them. And it's difficult for men to view their bodies in the same way that it's difficult for women to look at their bodies based on what media and advertising tells us. Secondly, there's another standard that men are held to, and this is this relational standard that they always have to get the girl, or that they're always going to get the girl. And advertising companies victimize these men and say things in their ads like lose the flakes, get the girls, or live unbuttoned, and then show pictures of a female unbuttoning this gentleman's pants, as we can see in the left ad. We all know what that means, to live unbuttoned. There's clear sexual innuendos here. The bottom ad, it's for like an energy bar, and it's saying like so that you can do something over and over again, and there's multiple girls in bed with one man, and that is great. I mean, that's fantastic. This is a great way to sell your products, telling men that they need to get the girls, telling men that they'll find there's worth in these girls, and that's just not true. And not only that, but these ads typically push heterosexual norms, as well as this idea of submissiveness. Okay, so going into this topic of submissiveness, it is a double-edged sword used for these advertising companies, because not only does it hurt women, it also hurts men. So here are 3 images in which women are shown as submissive, or I guess subordinate is a better word to show it. In the middle ad, which is a Gucci ad, it depicts a woman lying on the lap of a gentleman and her rear is up in the air, and you might think, well, this doesn't really show that she's being submissive to him per se. However, when we analyze further advertisements, such as the one on the right and the left, we realize that women are constantly positioned, or the photographs are taken in a way that women are seen below men, or men are seen as looking down upon women. For example, on the image in the right, these 3 men are looking at this woman, and I'm sure they're admiring her because she's a beautiful model, etc., etc. However, it shows that women are of less importance, or of less human, I guess you can say it, than men are. However, of course, if you look, there are a few exceptions, such as this middle ad here, where these men are following this woman like lost puppy dogs, and there's, you could see these images and clearly see where men are seen to be taken advantage of by these women and seen in places of subordinates to these women. But these exceptions are few and far between. In either way, this is not okay. Men and women should be represented as equal in advertising. The reason that submissiveness is considered a double-edged sword is because men are constantly dominant. At first glance, you might think, oh, well, what's the big deal with this? What if men want to be in charge, men want to be in positions of power, etc., etc.? However, most of the time, dominance comes with these heterosexual norms and popularizing rape culture. For example, in the far right ad, it's a beer ad, and it says, "Party now, apologize later." You can clearly see in the sexual position of this man and woman in this photo that partying would be some sort of sexual act, and apologizing would be apologizing for the assumed sexual assault that is going to be taking place during this intoxicated act. Similarly, in the middle photo, the Dolce & Gabbana ad, a man is seen aggressively pinning down a woman by her arms while other men stand and watch. Again, both of these ads, including the far left one where a man is aggressively holding a woman by her face, these popularize rape culture as well as heterosexual norms. This hypersexualization of men and women, along with this dominant and submissive persona that pertains to men and women's relationships, pushes heterosexual norms, popularizes rape culture, and brings the idea that women and men are nothing more but sex objects. It's 2016. Men and women should be represented equally in advertising and media. If we were to really sit and analyze the methods of advertising, nobody would want to buy these products based on what they're selling. They're selling aggressive
and dominant personas along with hypersexualization and submissiveness, and men and women would not want to buy these products if that's what they were going to be truly getting out of them. We've done it before. We've sold products in which we show men and women having equal relationships, in which we show men and women selling products based on their abilities and not based on the sexualization or the dominance or subordination of them. Advertisers really need to hone in on this idea, as well as the consumers, and realize that this is not what they want, and realize that this is not how they should be selling their products.